Good morning, and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church. I'm Pastor Gary Lode-Holt. This week I'm sharing stories shaped and told by William R. White that speak to our faith. Often he uses fables and folk tales as the basis of his story, but for this one, he uses a story from the Bible where some friends carry a paralyzed man to Jesus for healing, and unable to reach him because of the crowds, they lower their friend down to Jesus through the roof. Some years ago, I noticed that in this story, there's very little about the paralyzed man's faith, but Jesus responds when he sees the faith of the man's friends. Maybe there's a message there about the impact of our faith on others. Never doubt the power of prayer. This story is called Carrying a Friend. "What is your favorite Bible story, Papa?" the little girl asked her father as he tucked her under the sheets. "Let me see," he said as he sat on the edge of the bed. "There are so many that I love." The story we read tonight at supper of the four men who carried their paralyzed friend to Jesus, lowering him through the roof, is one of my favorites because it reminds me so much of how your Uncle Hans was healed. "I don't know that story," the little girl said hopefully. "Please tell it to me, Papa." "Many years ago," the father began, "Hans and his wife, Enid, escaped the war in Europe so that he could continue his life of teaching in the seminary. At first things were difficult because his English was not good, but soon he became one of our seminary's most beloved teachers. The students loved him because he was warm and gentle, and when he spoke, the scriptures came alive. Hans and Enid were very much in love. Nearly every day they took long walks together, holding hands. It warmed the hearts of students and faculty alike to see them sitting close to each other in church. Then one day, Enid died. Hans was struck with sorrow. For weeks he would not eat or take walks. The seminary president, along with three other friends, visited him regularly, but he felt lonely and depressed. He was experiencing the dark night of the soul. On one of their visits, Hans said to his friends, "I am no longer able to pray to God. In fact, I am not certain I believe in God." After a moment of silence, the seminary president said, "Then we will believe for you. We will make your confession for you. We will pray for you." The other friends looked bewildered by the president's words, but not knowing what else to say, they agreed. In the days ahead, the four men met daily for prayer. They made confession on behalf of Uncle Hans. They asked God to restore the gift of faith to their dear friend, and they continued to visit him in his home. Then, after many months, the four men all gathered in Hans's living room. He smiled before he spoke. "It is no longer necessary for you to pray for me. Today, I would like you to pray with me. The dark night of the soul has passed." There was a long silence before the little girl spoke. "Uncle Hans was just like the sick man in the story, wasn't he, Papa? Instead of a pallet to carry him to Jesus, his friends used only prayer." Thanks for watching, and remember to let this day belong to God.